The Admire Air 7000 is the new FAF overlock and cover stitch machine, and it comes with a standard presser foot that you can sew all of the 26 stitches with that come with the machine, including cover and overlock. So if you want extra feet to be able to do more embellishments and creative sewing on the Admire Air 7000, there's two kits available that you can buy. One is the Cover Stitch Feet Kit and the other is the Overlock Feet Kit. So they're both available from your local dealer. And let's just have a quick look at what feet come in these both of these packs. So kits. So the Cover Stitch Feet Kit has 5 feet that come, and there's details of them on the back. The 2 feet that I find really useful or have used a lot are the clear cover stitch foot and the piping foot with cording guide, and I'll tell you why I like those 2 particular feet, but I'll tell you about all of the 5 feet as well. So the clear cover stitch foot is great for when you're doing your hems on your t-shirts or around your neckline on a t-shirt or your cuff, and it just gives you a really good visual so you can see exactly where you're stitching, and when you get round in that full circle that you can actually line up the stitches again. And remember that the Admire Air 7000 comes with a free arm, so it's really easy for you to be able to sew your hems. Let me just take the, and you can see here that that's a free arm, so that's a great foot to have in your repertoire if you're making a lot of garments with stretch material and you're finishing off the hems and cuffs and necklines. So that would be a recommendation. And then the piping foot I really like, because in the cover stitch set it means that you can make piping using the chain stitch. So let me just show you that. So that's a close-up of the piping that you can make, and you can see how close you can get to the piping with the chain stitch. You can make a really tiny tight piping, and then with the same foot you can actually sew the piping into your garment or your particular project. I made some piping and I used it. This is a bag that I made. I made the whole thing on the Admire Air 7000, and you'll see that I did lots of piping, and I made that piping with the piping foot that comes in the cover stitch kit, and I was able to get it really tiny, so I really like that one. And then the other feet that come in the cover stitch kit, feet kit, is really for adding embellishments. So you can add lace. One of the feet is to add lace on top, and it just does a cover stitch and adds the lace onto the top of the garment or the project, and then the other one actually folds the fabric and places the lace or whatever trim you're adding behind the garment. Then the third foot here is the strap and belt loop foot, and I really like that foot too. I've used that a lot. You can make straps really easily, so you'll set your machine up for the cover stitch and then you can create these straps, and you know they can be really stretchy. If you cut that on the bias you've got a lot of stretch there too. It doesn't have to be, and I just made these little belt loops on my project, and I made those just to help to pull the zip, and I just used the extra just to tie on to my zip, so just pretty embellishments for my project. So those are the 5 feet that come with the cover stitch feet kit. Then you've also got, because this machine can convert between cover stitch and overlock, you could also purchase the overlock feet kit, and again that comes with 5 feet. You have the piping foot, so this time you're going to make the piping, but you're going to use it with a overlock stitch. You can do a 3-thread or 4-thread overlock and create the piping. You've got the elastic foot, which is really useful, the gathering foot, taping foot. So if you're making very garments with a lot of stretch and you don't want the shoulders to come out of shape or the neckline, you can use this foot to add in taping to give it a bit more stability. And also you've got the blind hem and lace foot. So the blind hem, that means you can turn hems up on the Admire Air 7000 in the overlock setting with this foot. So it's you've got a lot of feet there to choose from. We also do the FAF overlock EL times 705 overlocker needles. So they're recommended to use with this machine. And you, again, all of this is available from your local dealer. So I hope you're inspired to try these feet with your new Admire Air 7000 overlocker. The Admire Air 7000 is a cover stitch and overlock sewing machine. So you can set up the machine easily between cover or overlock, and it's got the one-touch electronic air threading loopers, so it's quick and easy to change between the two settings. So if you have the Admire Air 7000 set up for a cover stitch, there is an accessory that's available called the cover stitch binder, and this is the actual accessory piece, and it fits onto the front of the machine here, and it's for attaching a binding to your project. So it does it all in one step, so you get the two parallel stitching lines on the top, and underneath you'll get the chain looper. So it's a really great accessory to have to add binding to any of your projects, garments or any hobby projects. So here's an example of one that I used it for. So I added the bias binding to upcycle a garment that I felt really needed a new edge. So I did the Liberty fabric and I cut strips of 1 inch and 1/8, and you cut it on the bias, and then you feed that strip through the accessory here, and then you pull it underneath the presser foot, and the cover stitch then attaches it to your project all in one go. So it's a really clever accessory, and I love it. So I hope that's one you'll consider to buy to go with your Admire Air 7000.